Hi, I'm Stu Walton, founder and president of Sheaves, Inc. In this video, you're going to learn about a way to cut the time it takes to sell sheaves by 50% and expand your sheaves offering by at least 100%, all without spending a single extra dime on staffing, inventory, or labor. Today, the wire rope sheave business has one problem no one wants to talk about. And that's been okay because up until now, no one could do anything about it. So we suffered in silence along with our customers. But now it's time to break the silence. The problem is availability of sheaves, which after 100 years are still made to order and delivered on a timetable measured in weeks rather than days. Today, when everybody's intimately familiar with the speed and efficiency of ordering from Amazon, the distance between customer expectation and customer reality is wider than it's ever been. And that's not a good thing. Oh, what's more, in an age where most sheave manufacturers are owned by private equity companies, it's becoming ever more rare to keep sheaves in stock because these new owners of these companies simply do not want to make the investment in sheaves needed to provide reasonable delivery times. This leads to dead inventory, what I like to call debt inventory, because if you could keep everything in stock, it would cost several $100,000 just to keep a ready supply of all the variations on hand. But that's not the worst of it. If you had 1,000 variations of sheaves available, you might sell 200 of them in a given year. That leaves 800 variations of sheaves unsold at a carrying cost that would undo your profit margins. And the following year, it's a pretty sure bet you won't be able to predict which of those remaining 800 parts will sell. And so the debt rises and you hope your costs will be covered by the sales of other products. And of course, you still need to replace the 200 sheaves you did sell the year before. Now, I just said no one wants to talk about the problem because there's never been a solution. So here's the good news. Tonight, right this minute, you can have immediate access and delivery of 1,000 different sheave configurations and at no cost to you. In the rest of this video, you're going to learn about a system for selling sheaves that's so simple and profitable that even a person with minimal training could sell up a storm. The reason I could tell you this is I've been in the industrial component industry for 50 years. My engineering background has led to one recent patent on sheave technology with another in the works. My company provides sheaves for drilling equipment, the marine industry, and lifting equipment of all types. We have sheaves in use from the bottom of the ocean to up in the International Space Station, down in the Antarctica to above the Arctic Circle, and on all 7 continents, all over the world. After a dozen years selling wire rope sheaves, I was getting completely frustrated offering 3 to 4 week or longer deliveries to customers who really needed sheaves immediately. So we finally decided to do something about it. And in just a moment, you'll understand why this is about to become such an important story in the industry. In an age when online technologies set the expectation for delivery times. What is now possible is not just evolutionary, it's revolutionary. And if you see what it means to your end customer, how it transforms their relationship to you, you'll be able to dominate this exclusive and vitally important niche. But first, we need to understand how speed affects the rest of your experience with your customer. So let me warn you in advance, it's not pretty. Now, as important as delivery time is to the sale, slowing it down makes the sales process itself even crazier. When a customer calls up, they sometimes don't know exactly what they're looking for. Maybe they don't know what outside diameter is. Maybe they don't know how to measure the hub width. Add 1,000 different combinations of rope size, bearing type, shaft size, hub width, and you can see how this could reduce the conversation between the inside salesperson and his potential customer to, well, something like this.
Third.
You know the guy's names on the baseball team?
Yes.
Well, go ahead. Who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the guy's name.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who?
The guy playing first base.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
What are you asking me for? I don't know.
And the normal sales process wastes a lot of time. You have to make sure the customer is ordering what they think they're ordering. Then you have to make some calls to see when the part can be manufactured and delivered. Then you have to make a guess and call the customer back and hope he hasn't gone somewhere else in the meantime. What you really want is for the customer to ask for what he needs and be able to sell it to him on the spot with Amazon-like speed and delivery. That way the customer no longer cares about shopping on price because they're so happy you're able to give him exactly what he wanted when he wanted it. The way you get there is with a process that perfectly matches all the components your customer needs, even if they don't know exactly what it is they need. In fact, your inside salesperson doesn't need to know much more than your customer because the system does the hard work for him or for her. Here's how it's done. The customer calls in and says he wants a sheave to match the ones on all of their existing drill rigs, as an example. But as so often happens, he isn't exactly sure of some of the dimensions, like the hub diameter. He isn't even sure if the bearing is a roller bearing, like this, or a roller bearing with an inner race. So here's how the system solves for this. The first step is just to get the customer to tell you the outside diameter of the sheave and the size of the wire rope he needs to go for it. Anyone can tell you this. The second step is almost as easy. You get the customer to tell you the bearing type he needs, whether it's a bronze bushing, roller bearing for a hardened shaft, or roller bearing with an inner race. Then the shaft size he's using, and finally the hub width, which is the distance along the shaft from one side of the bearing to the other. Again, he should have all this information right at hand. If he doesn't, all he needs is a ruler and 1 extra minute to get these numbers for you. With these 5 simple measurements, you can give him the right one of any of 1,000 versions of sheaves. This ensures that each sheave fits perfectly inside the frame it was designed for, and completely eliminates having to check with 6 different providers to make sure they have all the right dimensions before they order. This system is called ReadyFit, and it comes with every sheave you order from Q Sheaves. What the system does is transform a minimum 2-call sale into a 1-call sale. Not only does this increase efficiencies in the sales process, it cuts down on lost sales from customers who go to your competitor between the time they call you and the time you do your price and delivery check and get back to them. Those days are gone forever using ReadyFit. The same fanatical attention to detail that led us to create the ReadyFit system ensures that each completed sheave is finished to a level of detail that is unusual in the industry. Here's a typical sheave from one of the largest manufacturers. Notice the rough finish on the outside of the sheave. Because we manufacture Q sheaves out of solid steel, we have a smooth finish on the entire surface of the sheave. Customers are always impressed with these memorable details. This makes it easier to identify as a Q sheave, and now your customers know what brand to reorder. But our Q sheaves are not just a pretty face. Our sheaves have been load tested by an accredited third party. In every test, the ropes shatter, but the sheaves never break. Even at 89,000 pounds, the only effect on this sheave was a little scratch paint. But load testing is just the tip of the iceberg. We also put our sheaves through 100% quality control inspection before they leave the factory, and 100% quality control inspection again when we receive them in our warehouse. Testing for the right variables is super important. In the case of sheaves, the 2 critical dimensions, the ones that prove your sheave will stand the test of time, are groove dimensions and the bearing bore. Take it from this engineer. You might have a great attorney, but this is still the best way to avoid liability problems. Make sure your sheaves have the highest possible strength and the correct dimensions. Our solid steel sheaves are based on patented technology backed by 50 years of experience and have been battle tested in the harshest real-world environments on Earth and off Earth, day in and day out. But because these sheaves are so special, we want to offer them in a special way, a way that will revolutionize this industry. First of all, you don't need to invest a dime in inventory. We stock everything for you, assemble the sheave into any one of 1,000 combinations possible, and drop ship directly to your customer in 24 hours or less. This makes the sales process so much faster. There's no checking with the factory, no fancy pricing, and no need for your salespeople to have encyclopedic knowledge of the sheave industry. In fact, the sales process itself is so simple that your customers can go online and place orders themselves with no involvement on the part of your sales staff. We are so confident of both our product and our delivery time that we make you not one, but 2 guarantees. First, we guarantee shipping to your customer's doorstep in 3 days or less, or the sheave is free. Second, in the unlikely event that the sheave doesn't fit, we'll take it back and give you full credit. Sheaves is something completely unique in the sheave industry. The product is made with fanatic attention to detail. The sales process is the only one we know of that's a pure delight to your customers, and it's the only one that doesn't require you to make a costly and mostly useless investment in inventory. To sum it up, I'm offering you an opportunity to become a leading distributor of 6 to 12-inch wire rope sheaves by selling the only product line offering over 1,000 configurations and shipping within 24 hours, all without you investing a dime in inventory. We're talking to a good number of distributors, but we'll only be taking on a few right now. We want to make sure these distributors are super successful before we launch industry-wide. So here's the bottom line, I suppose. If you want to boost your bottom line and do it almost overnight, then just click on the button below this video and we'll get in touch with you in the next 24 hours. I'm Stu Walton with Sheaves. Bye for now.